What is up guys, Joe here. Welcome back to my channel, and today we have a very different video on the channel to what you're used to seeing. Yes, you guys have been demanding it, that is for sure, but we're going to take a look how you set up a Pro Cyclist with a real rider. So obviously on my channel I did the Remco Evenepoel Pro Cyclist mode in PCM 2018 last year, and this season we're doing FreeLanda with of course Mikel Landa trying to win his first Grand Tour. And yeah, you guys have been asking how you create a Pro Cyclist mode with a real rider, and so let's just jump straight into it now. So as you see on screen, the first step is to create a Pro Cyclist in Pro Cycling Manager. Select your database of your choice as usual, wait for the mode to load, and you want to just create a rider. And important to note, try and create a rider of the same nationality as the rider you're going to choose. So in this example, we're going to use Remco Evenepoel. So I'm going to set up a rider as Remco Evenepoel in Pro Cyclist, and you can see I've named him Remco Evenepoel Delete. Put him from Belgium as well, and to be honest, nothing else really matters here. I do want to select a similar rider type. I'm not sure what impact this has, but try and do that if you can. Select, I usually just select a Conti team, but that doesn't matter too much. Continue into the game mode, and you have done step one. So you can now see we are in Pro Cyclist mode with our new rider Remco Evenepoel Del. It's not quite set up how we want though. We don't have the picture, we're not riding for the Koenig Quickstep, and we have a terrible rider. So next thing to do is to quit to main menu and come out of your Pro Cycling Manager. And to continue guys, you do need to have either Lackey's editor or the fast editor installed on your computer. And to do that, you just need to Google it. I'll leave some links in the description if you don't have it installed already. I'm sure some of you already have this installed. And basically what these tools allow you to do is to go into the database of one of your Pro Cycling Manager saves and edit the database of that particular save. So make sure you have one of these downloaded before coming on to the next step. And so once you've got one of those tools downloaded, you can go to Documents, Pro Cycling Manager 2019, Cloud, your username, which for me is obviously Timmsoski, and then you will see all your saves in Pro Cycling Manager. And if we sort by date modified, you will see your most recent save at the top. For me, the most recent one that I just created and quit with Remco Evenepoel Del is Pro Cyclist 5. We want to double click on that of the type PCM database and load that up in the tool you've just downloaded. So this next part might look slightly different for you guys if you're using Lackey's editor. I'm using the fast editor though, and what we have loaded now is the database of your save. You can see might look quite confusing at first if you've not seen it before, but we're currently in Cyclists on the left hand panel, and you can see on the right all of the cyclists in the save. So the next step we need to do is to search for our rider as well as the real rider we want to replace as our Pro Cyclist. So as you can see, I've changed filter to last name like Evenepoel, and you can see our new rider Remco Evenepoel Del comes up as well as the real life Remco Evenepoel, which we want to transfer to our Pro Cyclist. So once we have our riders in view, we want to note a few things down. So first thing we want to note down is the ID of both our riders. So you can see the ID of the real Remco is 6770, and the ID of the Remco we've just created that we are going to delete later in the tutorial is 190. Note both of them down. We also want to note down the team ID, and you can see to start with our team is it's just coming up with the name. We need the ID of the team, and to do that in the fast editor you can go to settings, use lists in grid, untick that, and the ID of the teams will appear. So now we can see the ID of the Koenig Quickstep is 10. We want to note that down, and as well we want to note down 327, which is the team ID of Remco Evenepoel Del. So in the next step we are going to delete the contract of the new rider we have created. We're going to slowly delete this rider from the database and basically replace the Pro Cyclist with the real Remco. So first we want to delete his contract, and to do that, go to the left hand side panel, click on Cyclist Contracts. You can see the contracts now in the right hand panel, and we just need to copy our rider ID into the filter. As you can see I am doing right here, copying 190 from Remco Evenepoel Dell. Obviously not the real Remco, we want to keep all of his data in the database. So just filter by Cyclist, copy in 190 in my case, and then we're going to delete that contract as you see. So again guys, make sure you're doing this for the new rider we have created and not the real rider you're going to change your Pro Cyclist to. So the next step is fairly important and fairly critical to this whole process. We want to go to GAM user, GAM_user, and you can see a similar looking table to what you see on my screen right here. You can see our Cyclist is currently 190 and our team duplicate is 327. They're of course the IDs of the new Remco we've created. We want to change these to the real Remco, so team 10 in this case is Quickstep. We will copy that from the real Remco Evenepoel, not the new one, and copy that into FK ID team duplicate. You can see I've done that right there. And we want to do the same for Cyclist. So we don't want 190, we don't want the new Remco we've created. We want the real life Remco 6770 in this case. We're going to copy that to the Cyclist row, as you see I'm doing right here. So in the next step, we are going to set up our race calendar. So currently our race calendar is still the same as our old team. We want to transfer that to Deceuninck Quickstep. In this case, all the new team you have set up with your new rider. So first thing to do is filter by your old team's ID in team races. As you see, I've navigated to team races in the left side panel here. We're going to copy in the ID of our old team. In this case, it's 327, and you can see all the races for that team right here. And basically what we're going to do in the right hand side column, FK ID Pro Cyclist, everything needs to be 0 in that right side column. Don't worry about what this all means at this point. Just make sure that whole column is 0 and none of those races will appear on your calendar. So you can see I have done that. Next thing, we want to move on to the Deceuninck Quickstep races in this same table. So I have filtered by Deceuninck Quickstep, and as you see, all the Deceuninck Quickstep races for the year have now appeared on screen. And so basically, to explain, all we want to do is make sure the national championships of our new rider are set to 1. So in this case, obviously Remco is Belgian. We want both the individual time trial and the road race for Belgium to be set to 1 in FK ID Pro Cyclist, as you see I'm doing on screen. And the next step is to set FK ID Pro Cyclist to 7 in all the other national championships which aren't the Belgian champs, and that will obviously mean we can't ride those and we'll be forced to ride the Belgian championships. So set all the other national championships to 7 next. And then the final step in this table is we want to sort by FK invitation state. And you can see we've got forced, national, rejected, subscribed, all sorts in this kind of column here. And basically what these means are the races you are forced to ride as a World Tour team. So they're all the World Tour races. All the subscribed races, which are the races we have chosen to ride as a team, which we're not forced to ride. And then you may see some asking wildcards as well if you're riding for a Conti Pro team. Basically for all those 3 types, we want to change the FK ID Pro Cyclist to 6. So change all them to 6. And basically what this means is we get to choose whether we want to ride that race as our Pro Cyclist. So set every subscribed, asking wildcard or forced to 6 in FK ID Pro Cyclist. So before leaving this table, make sure you've got this set up correctly because it's fairly pivotal to your Pro Cyclist. Again, make sure your 2 national championships are set to 1, all of the other national championships set to 7, and then subscribed, forced, or asking wildcard to 6, and you should have 0 in all the rejected races. So we've now set up our calendar, but of course, when you start a Pro Cyclist, you don't really have any points to change your calendar around. We want to just set up a bunch of points in our Pro Cyclist. So to do that, go to GAM career data, that's GAM_career_data. And in this kind of small table, you will see pro points and set that value to something massive like 5,000, 10,000, anything. And that is the number of points available to change your calendar. So almost there guys. Next up, we want to go to Dyn Pro Cyclist. That's DYN_Pro Cyclist. And you can see a very small table here we want to put in our real rider's ID into the Cyclist column. So again, for me, that's 6770 for Remco Evenepoel. Copy that into the Cyclist column. And then one final step in this table, you can see the value IXP column on the right. This is basically what level you are. So we don't really want to start as level 1, especially if you're an elder rider like Landa. So this is basically the amount of XP you have. I think about 5,000 is level 20 to give you a rough idea. You can toggle with this if you wish. But I put this to 5,500, which should take Remco up to about level 22. Gives him some room to progress, but doesn't make him overpowered to the point where he's going to have 35 level ups. Just before finishing up then, all we need to do is go into Cyclists, find the Pro Cyclist we use to create the save, in my case Remco Evenepoel Dell, and delete that cyclist, obviously leaving the real rider in the database. So guys, all that's left to do is save your database. I would just recommend overwriting that save. You can close that down, navigate into Pro Cycling Manager, boot it up if you've shut it, load the save, and there you go. As you see, Remco Evenepoel is your Pro Cyclist. You can see all his rider data, all his career results. It's all set up to be Remco. We've got his face, the Deceuninck Quickstep team shirt on the bottom left. If we go to calendar as well, we will see his calendar. It's all set up as Remco. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and were able to follow it, most importantly. I've never really done a tutorial before, so I hope it went okay. I hope you understood it, most importantly, and I hope you enjoy your new Pro Cyclist with a real rider. Again guys, one little plug, I do have a Pro Cyclist series at the moment with Michael Landa. It's called FreeLanda. We're trying to win Michael Landa his first Grand Tour. Check that out if you haven't already. I also did a little Pro Cyclist series last season with Remco Evenepoel. You can also check that out if you wish. Adding to that guys, if I haven't explained anything properly or you're confused, do leave a comment down below. I will do my best to get back to you there. And as you see guys, I couldn't resist playing a little bit of this save and doing a little Terreno with Remco. But anyhow guys, I will stop rambling. All that remains to be said is if you enjoyed the video today, do drop a like. That really helps the channel out. Let me know what you thought in the comments and let me know again if you're struggling. I'll do my best to help you there. Subscribe to my channel if you're new, and I'll see you guys in the next one.